I am Morawakage, and joining me this evening to have yet another insightful conversation is Dr. Prabath Morawakage from the Department of Finance, University of Kelaniya. Thank you very much, Doctor, for accepting our invitation and being with me here today.
Hi, Jamal. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. So let's get the ball rolling, Dr. Morawakage. On the offset, I want to discuss with you about the dire situation Sri Lanka is in. We have declared bankruptcy and you know how the rest follows. But what the government has been doing together with the IMF and the extended fund facility we have been engaged in is in one component that they have put forward is revenue generation, and we see that the government has opted to take the route of increasing taxes, indirect taxes, and taxing the people. We saw how the VAT percentage was increased from 15 to 18%, and payee taxes, the threshold was increased earlier this year, and so on. But there are other ways where you can generate revenue in this country, especially by increasing gross domestic product, increasing the production in our country. But for decades, Sri Lanka has been following very archaic methods of revenue generation, Doctor. So speak to me a bit about how we can modernize revenue generation. What sort of sectors should we focus on in order for us to generate more revenue in this country in order to uplift our economy and GDP as a whole?
Yes, Jamal, it's a good beginning to discuss. When it comes to the current situation in the Sri Lankan context, we can see most of the people are suffering due to the taxation.
Yes.
I think the government has imposed taxes. That is the easiest way to generate the revenue.
Yes.
But if you look at restructuring the economy, and if we can redefine the economic policies,
right,
we will be able to generate more revenue in this economy. For example, if you look at today's context, the labor force participation rate is very low.
Right.
It is around 50%. That means 50% of the active labor is out of the labor force. So that means we need to take some actions to bring them into the labor force participation, and then we can get more productivity into the economy.
Right.
And the other aspect is most of the resources are not. We are only focusing on the Western province and maybe several other provinces like Coimbatore and southern provinces. But if you look at northern and eastern provinces, still we have not touched them. Even after the 30 years of war, we expected more contribution from these areas. We have not taken their contribution yet. So we have a lot of isolated land around the country. We need to take them into most of the economic like revenue generating centers. As example, if you take most of the land, abundant land can be used as warehouses, which is a big business nowadays globally. Warehousing, and when it comes
logistics
to
and supply chain industry,
because we are in the middle of the world, so then we can use those areas for warehousing, and the other one energy, and then most of the areas you can see the solar power and the wind power generation can be done easily.
Yes.
So these things we need to focus how we can get the resources which has been abundant into the economy, and thereby we can expand the economy. That is the only solution we have. If we impose taxes, so then the economy shrink. So that means we can't expect the economy to grow. The main problem what we identify at the moment is the taxation decrease the economic development, economic growth.
Yes.
Therefore, we need to encourage other ways, other mechanisms by going into the other areas,
right,
and exploiting other labor but we have not taken into the labor force. So then that's what I see, how we can increase the revenue of this economy. When we increase the GDP, automatically the government revenue and the other flows, cash flows to the economy can be increased. So that's what I see at the moment.